So Prime Minister Mark Carney has touched down in China, and there are two primary objectives of the trip from what I can glean from what we've heard so far from the ministers involved and the Prime Minister himself. The first is to reframe or restart the relationship between Canada and China from an economic and trade perspective. The second is to deal with the more specific issue of tariffs that the Chinese have applied on a number of Canadian agricultural products. Maybe the one you're most familiar with is canola. That involves, somewhat of a give and take potentially on EV tariffs that Canada applied a number of months ago. But in any event, both of those objectives are incredibly politically fraught. On the first, the reframing of the relationship, you have to remember back to 2016 when then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was saying exactly the same thing. It didn't end up materializing anywhere close to what the Prime Minister was projecting, and it fell apart well before Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were detained by China. So that tells you something about how difficult it is to reframe a relationship with China, even from just an economic perspective. There's also the issue of China's human rights record, what happened to Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, all of which complicates the issue at hand. On the tariffs, that's also politically fraught as well because of the fact that the EV tariffs are something that Ontario's premier supports. The canola tariffs are obviously something Saskatchewan's premier wants to see alleviated or gotten rid of. And so in a way, you kind of see politically different parts of the country and different industries pitted against each other. What I am constantly reminded of from people who know China really well is that is by design. By design on the part of China, they pit parts of the country against each other. They exacerbate or try to amplify vulnerabilities. That's the kind of trading partner that they can be, which is another cautionary note and something else that politically complicates the entire trip for the Prime Minister.